So, is it the solution or the problem?
The Wakefield Mansion in Vermilion has overlooked Lake Erie for more than a century, but is the former Inland Seas Maritime Museum holding development back?
In this News 5 original, Kevin Barry explains why residents are rushing to save it.
Normally, even with cold weather.
This is a really lively downtown.
Julia Bonderer at Brummer's Chocolate says Vermilion businesses survive the winter, knowing that spring, summer, and tourists are just around the corner. The coronavirus has changed that.
It's been hard because a lot of our events have been canceled.
One potential attraction sits a few hundred feet just down Main Street. The Wakefield Mansion was built in 1909 by one of the people who helped build up the lakeshore community.
So this upper area would be picnic tables.
Ben CRISS lives nearby, and he's trying to gather support for what the property's next chapter could be. His vision sees a children's museum that would draw families to the water with a boardwalk along the shore and public art.
Then the mural closest to the wheelhouse would be a 1950s style Welcome to Vermilion Shore postcard.
He hopes those things would bring entertainment and even more people to the waterfront, helping stores like the chocolate shop that are climbing out of COVID business declines.
Because each draw brings more people spend money. Downtown businesses are struggling, this would help.
But the city of Vermilion has a different plan. It wants to demolish the building, save the lighthouse, but turn this into an area that people can enjoy while being outside, complementing the beach nearby.
The concept was to preserve access to the lake for future generations.
Vermilion Mayor Jim FORTHOFER was involved when the city bought the mansion about 8 years ago. It was no longer being used as a museum.
And the intention was to put something in there. And that's where we got a splash of cold reality.
That reality came in the restoration and maintenance estimates. FORTHOFER said it would cost a little more than $3 million to restore the building and as much as $100,000 a year to keep it up.
We have a budget, especially with COVID, that just breaks even.
So he says that kind of financial commitment just isn't possible. Instead, he wants a patio or gazebo where the building stands now. There are already plans to expand the beach area and install permanent bathrooms to replace the porta potties.
There's all kinds of things we can do, but not if we're chained to that building.
Ben's last-ditch effort to save the structure comes from his own construction estimates and his talks with Preservation Ohio.
I don't think it's that far gone.
Julie ROHL is a trustee for that nonprofit group that tries to save buildings like the mansion. Sometimes they find funding that doesn't come from taxpayers.
Well, we try to identify grant sources. A lot of the main problems that are coming up time and time again with this property is the mold and the asbestos.
Their estimate for what it would take to restore the building is lower than the city's, and Ben wants to put demolition to a referendum vote in May. But he'd need cooperation from the city that he isn't likely to get.
It just seemed to me it'd be a shame to lose our history.
On that point, there isn't much debate. But the mayor says the beach drew a lot of visitors over the summer, even during the pandemic, because it was one of the few attractions that was still open.
Improving the natural beach, that is going to be a big draw.
In Vermilion, I'm Kevin Barry, News 5.
So the city could agree to a demolition bid as early as Monday evening, and the mayor tells News 5 he hopes to complete the demolition in March so it doesn't get in the way of people trying to visit the beach.